Shedeur Sanders refuses to back down as Gabriel falters before Browns owner Jimmy Haslam. A rookie QB battle reaches its boiling point. Cleveland, Ohio, the scorching sun in Berea, Ohio, beat down on the Cleveland Browns training facility on July 29th, but it wasn't just the summer heat turning heads. It was Shedeur Sanders. Against the backdrop of uncertainty in the Browns' quarterback depth chart, the rookie out of Colorado has taken it upon himself to rewrite the narrative. While others cool down, rest, and shuffle off the field, Sanders remains. And on a day when another rookie quarterback, Gabriel, faltered under the watchful eye of owner Jimmy Haslam, Sanders stood tall, determined, disciplined, and deeply dialed in. What unfolded during the team's padded practice on Tuesday felt like the moment the battle lines were drawn. The once-overlooked 144th overall pick is mounting an all-out campaign not just to make the roster, but to challenge every assumption that followed him into the NFL. The rise of a relentless rookie. You gotta be ready for everything. Those were the words uttered by Shedeur Sanders before the weekend, and no phrase could better define his current trajectory. While others treat training camp as a time to adjust, Sanders treats it like a war zone. Every snap a battle, every pass a statement, and every rep a chance to edge closer to the top. Coming off what ESPN Cleveland dubbed the best statistical performance of training camp so far, Sanders elevated his stock even further on Tuesday. The young gunslinger went 9 for 9 with 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and surgical precision in the red zone. The accuracy? Flawless. The late nights, long hours, and legacy. When most players had removed their cleats, tossed towels over their shoulders, and strolled back toward the locker room, Shedeur Sanders was still there, helmet on, shoulders squared, spirals slicing through the humid Ohio air. Practice ended about 10 minutes ago. #Browns rookie QB Shedeur Sanders still out here, tweeted Browns insider Brad Stainbrook. It wasn't the first time. In June, during rookie minicamp, Sanders remained on the field 20 minutes after the final whistle. Fox 8's John Sabal noted the same behavior then, an obsessive commitment that's now translating into real-time mechanical improvement. Whether it's footwork, timing, or decision-making, Sanders isn't just throwing passes, he's building a resume. From a dream crushed to a new battlefront. There was once a dream, to get drafted higher than his father, the iconic Deion coach Prime Sanders. That dream took a harsh blow on draft night when Shedeur slid deep into the 5th round. Some experts chalked it up to the Prime effect, media saturation, perceived arrogance, and public scrutiny. Others said he simply lacked the pro-readiness of his peers. But those narratives are eroding fast. Instead of sulking, Sanders vanished into Miami's brutal off-season heat to grind. He didn't go to make headlines. He went to sharpen. And the results are showing. From deep bombs to Luke Floria to threading a laser into Deontay Johnson in the end zone, Sanders has demonstrated what scouts once admired. Elite accuracy, poise under pressure, and next-level football IQ. Off the field, he's shown class and maturity, gathering kids for photos after practice, shaking hands, answering questions. This isn't a kid distracted by fame. He's locked in to football, to competition, and to proving that the 144 next men chosen before him made a mistake. Jimmy Haslam seized the contrast. Across the field on Tuesday, as Sanders continued zipping darts into the red zone, another rookie QB had his shot, Gabriel. Gabriel, the decorated former Oklahoma standout, has been praised for his experience and adaptability. But potential can only carry you so far. Performance is what counts. And Gabriel's performance under pressure, with Haslam watching just yards away, could not have gone worse. In the red zone, with an opportunity to build momentum, Gabriel threw a pass so telegraphed it might as well have come with a post-it note attached. Cornerback Cameron Mitchell jumped the route with ease, intercepting the ball in the end zone. Game over. Eyes on the sideline drifted toward Haslam, his expression unreadable, but the implications unmistakable. While Shedeur Sanders is boasting over 72% pass accuracy across practices, Gabriel's numbers are beginning to sag. On Tuesday alone, Gabriel went 6 of 9 with no TDs, and with Mitchell's interception in the books, the luster is fading. The numbers don't lie. Let's break it down. Saturday's performance. Shedeur Sanders, 8 of 11, 3 TDs, 0 INTs. Dillon Gabriel, 8 of 15, 1 TD, 0 INTs. Tuesday's performance. Shedeur Sanders, 9 of 9, 2 TDs, 0 INTs. Dillon Gabriel, 6 of 9, 0 TDs, 1 INT to Mitchell. These numbers tell a clear story. One quarterback is ascending, while the other is scrambling to maintain relevance. And with Joe Flacco seemingly entrenched as the veteran starter, that backup role becomes a cutthroat fight. Stefanski and the power play. The final decision may lie in the hands of head coach Kevin Stefanski, but he's not the only power broker in Berea. Browns owner Jimmy Haslam's presence on the sidelines Tuesday wasn't casual. It was evaluative. It was intentional. It was watchful. Ken Carman of 92.3 The Fan has already made his stance public, stating that Shedeur Sanders should get a real shot regardless of depth chart status. Reps or no reps, he's earned his chance to start, Carman said. That sentiment is echoing louder by the day. So where does Stefanski go from here? A commitment to performance? A loyalty to process? Or does he bend to the visible momentum gathering behind Sanders? Blocking out the world. One of the most telling signs of Sanders' mindset is who's not around. Despite speculation, Coach Prime has made no trip to Cleveland. When asked about his father visiting camp, Sanders responded bluntly, "I'm not sure. I've been cut off from the world." Why the isolation? Focus. Zero distractions. He's not interested in press tours or photo ops. His message is crystal clear. If he's going to make it, it will be on his own terms. The battle ahead. Make no mistake, Shedeur Sanders isn't asking for sympathy. He's demanding opportunity, and his play is forcing the Browns to take notice. If he keeps stacking days like Tuesday, the front office will face a dilemma it never anticipated. Can they really afford to sideline the most productive rookie in camp? Dillon Gabriel's misstep, though perhaps not fatal, was ill-timed. And with Haslam watching, mistakes like that are magnified. The leash for failure is short. Gabriel needs a flawless practice or two to flip the script. And what about Flacco? At 40, he brings experience and stability, but not the long-term upside. The Browns may soon have to choose between veteran steadiness or investing in the future. Conclusion. A storm is brewing in Berea. As the Browns barrel toward preseason action, all eyes are on the quarterbacks. But amidst all the storylines, one narrative rises above the rest. Shedeur Sanders refuses to be overlooked. He's outworking, outplaying, and outlasting the competition, all while refusing to make excuses. It's easy to label him a long shot. It's easy to say he was overhyped. But what he's showing now isn't hype. It's hunger. And if he keeps this up, the Browns may be forced to do the unthinkable, name the fifth-round kid from Colorado as their QB2, or maybe, just maybe, the future face of the franchise. Jimmy Haslam throws GM under the bus for Shedeur Sanders' pick, closes door on Deshaun Watson. A franchise at a crossroads. The Cleveland Browns, once viewed as a franchise finally finding its footing after decades of inconsistency, now appear to be spiraling into another chapter of chaos. One written with confusion, internal dissonance, and ownership drama. At the center of the turmoil, a polarizing rookie quarterback, a $230 million quarterback-shaped question mark, and a general manager who has suddenly found himself alone under the spotlight. Tuesday night, July 29th, may go down as a turning point for the Browns. Not because of what happened on the field, but because of what their owner, Jimmy Haslam, said off it. In what many are calling a calculated and cold distancing move, Haslam deflected accountability for the team's decision to draft Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft and effectively signaled the end of Deshaun Watson's era in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders, the gamble no one wants to claim. When the Browns used their 5th-round pick to draft former Colorado Buffaloes star Shedeur Sanders, the move was met with mixed reactions. On the one hand, Sanders had pedigree, poise, and proven production in college, winning the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award and leading Colorado to its first winning season in over a decade. On the other hand, he came with baggage, immense media attention due to his father Deion Coach Prime Sanders, questions about his adaptability, and a perceived sense of entitlement. From the beginning, the decision to draft Sanders felt like a gamble. One many assumed had the owner's fingerprints all over it. After all, Jimmy Haslam has long shown a taste for headline-grabbing moves. From Johnny Manziel to Deshaun Watson, Haslam's past suggests a penchant for swinging big. So when the Browns drafted one of the most talked-about quarterbacks in the 2025 class, most assumed Haslam was behind the wheel. But Tuesday night changed that narrative completely. That's Andrew Berry's call, Haslam's stunning deflection. Speaking to reporters, Haslam praised the Browns' drafting process as a whole, before quickly shifting the blame away from himself and directly onto general manager Andrew Berry. "We have good process," Haslam said. "We had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur." Those 15 words instantly redirected the heat. The decision to draft Sanders, already considered a risky move, was no longer shared between owner and front office. It was now squarely on Berry's shoulders. Privately, insiders say the quote sent ripples through the Browns' facility. For weeks, there had been quiet confidence that Haslam had endorsed the pick, viewing Sanders as a marketing win and potential long-term project. Now, that support appears to be gone or was never there to begin with. Andrew Berry, on an island. Haslam's statement has thrust GM Andrew Berry into a very precarious position. Berry has already had to publicly defend Sanders in the wake of multiple off-season controversies. Earlier in July, it was revealed that Sanders had received 2 speeding citations, one for driving 91 miles per hour in a 65 zone, and another for hitting 101 miles per hour in a 60 zone. When asked about it, Berry didn't flinch. "Not smart," Berry stated bluntly. "We've talked to him. He understands the seriousness of the situation." Berry went a step further, referencing previous NFL tragedies involving reckless driving, underlining that the issue was about more than personal choices. It was about safety and responsibility. That mature, measured response was met with approval by the media. But now, Berry must also carry the full weight of the team's quarterback controversy, with no ownership safety net in sight. Watson woes. Haslam washes his hands clean. If Haslam's treatment of Sanders felt like a deflection, his remarks about Deshaun Watson felt like a eulogy. Just a few minutes after discussing Sanders, Haslam was asked if he envisioned Watson playing for the Browns again. His response? "I think it's premature," he said. "I don't think anything's changed on this situation since we were together in March." The situation refers to Watson's lingering absence, part health-related, part performance-related, and increasingly part front office paralysis. Despite a massive $230 million fully guaranteed contract, Watson is now viewed as more liability than asset. And Haslam is making it clear that the organization is no longer waiting around. The most stinging moment came when Haslam added, "I still think the Watson deal was a big swing and miss." That's not just a soundbite, it's an indictment. Haslam, who once stood on the podium and personally endorsed Watson amid sexual assault allegations and suspension, is now publicly branding the entire deal a failure. A franchise at war with itself. Between Watson and Sanders, the Browns' quarterback situation is not just unsettled, it's combustible. The locker room knows it, the coaches feel it, and the fans are starting to see it too. Internally, there's mounting tension between the personnel department, the coaching staff, and ownership. With Haslam blaming Berry for Sanders and distancing himself from Watson, 2 of the most important decisions in the organization now appear orphaned. There is no clear succession plan, no unified front, just a series of overlapping crises that threaten to derail yet another season. Shedeur Sanders, determined but polarizing. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders has continued to draw attention for both his on-field play and off-field mindset. His performances in training camp have been undeniably impressive. Multiple days of high-accuracy passing, red zone touchdowns, and even post-practice work ethic have fans and analysts alike wondering if he's the real deal. On day 4, he completed 9 of 9 passes with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. During red zone drills, he showcased calm under pressure and tight window accuracy. ESPN Cleveland called it the best statistical day of camp. Yet the off-field narrative, especially post-Haslam, has shifted. He's no longer just a promising rookie. He's a lightning rod. Every throw is a referendum on Andrew Berea. Every interception a vindication of Haslam's skepticism. Deshaun Watson, the elephant in the room. For all the conversation about rookies, Joe Flacco's veteran presence, and Stefanski's playbook, the biggest shadow hanging over Cleveland remains Deshaun Watson. Watson, whose fully guaranteed contract has limited the Browns' roster flexibility, is not only injured but also likely absent for a significant portion of the season. And based on Haslam's comments, the team is prepared to move on entirely. This leaves the Browns in a brutal spot, paying a quarterback who may never suit up again, while pinning hopes on a late-round rookie who now carries the added burden of internal political fallout. What now for Kevin Stefanski? If there's one person caught in the middle of all this, it's head coach Kevin Stefanski. With Flacco likely penciled in as QB1, Stefanski must decide whether to prioritize Shedeur Sanders' upside or Dillon Gabriel's system experience. But thanks to Haslam's comments, even that decision now has organizational implications. Start Sanders and you validate Berea, but potentially clash with ownership. Sit Sanders and you risk wasting the best rookie camp performance in years. Sources say Stefanski has remained neutral publicly but is privately impressed with Sanders' progress. Ken Carman of 92.3 The Fan has also voiced support, stating, "Whether he gets first-team reps or not, Shedeur Sanders is earning his chance to start." A fan base on edge. To Cleveland fans, this saga feels all too familiar. Hope, hype, confusion, collapse, repeat. For every potential breakthrough, there's a blowback. For every bold decision, a sharp reversal. The fans had cautiously bought into the idea of a Flacco bridge year, with young talent developing behind him. But now they're forced to watch a blame game unfold in real time. What should be a summer of preparation has become a theater of political maneuvering, and that never bodes well in the NFL. Conclusion: 2 doors closed, 1 barely open. Tuesday night wasn't just another press conference. It was a reckoning. Jimmy Haslam disavowed Deshaun Watson, shifting the narrative from regret to rejection. And in the same breath, he distanced himself from Shedeur Sanders, pinning the entire decision on Andrew Berea. Now, the Browns are a franchise at a crossroads with a fractured leadership team, a quarterback controversy inflamed by ownership remarks, and a rookie caught in the middle of it all. For Shedeur Sanders, it's an opportunity laced with pressure. For Andrew Berea, it's a test of credibility and career longevity. For Deshaun Watson, it's likely the end of a tumultuous tenure. And for the Cleveland Browns, it's another chapter in a story that somehow never stops being complicated.